What's going on, YouTube? What's up, everybody? Thursday. Just a regular Thursday. Well, not so regular, because I'm at home and you're seeing the fish tank, which normally you wouldn't see on a Thursday. But I've had a high temperature all week and went to the doctor, have strep throat, which is fun. What's up, Reef Keeper? So I've been battling 100-degree to 102 temperatures, and the kids been battling high temps and strep throat. So I've been working from home because there's no reason for me to go into the office and get everybody at work sick. So just doing some laundry now, cleaning all the sheets, getting bleached, getting everything cleaned up, because if you don't know anything about strep throat, it transfers pretty easily. So, you know, if the kids slobber on the pillow, they can just keep getting strep throat. So bleaching all the pillowcases and whatnot right now. Just hanging out here. Yeah, it's been a long week for us here. My little instance of it started Monday night, and when my temperature hit 102, which I've always said this, men when they get sick well, I'm a baby. Luckily I have 3 little girls, and when they're sick you can barely even tell it. So, but my wife's been out of town, so that was a lot of fun. But you know what? Take care of the kids, take care of yourself, and everything else will happen like it's supposed to. So, I actually fed the tank a frozen cube yesterday. Got back to dosing acro power, got back to dosing nitrates, because I didn't touch the tank for 2-3 days there. Just didn't feel like even paying attention to it. The glass is a little dirty. What's up, Reef Spy? Dang, Reef Spy's here. Waiting on another Reef Spy video. So yeah, I haven't touched the tank or anything. Might tend to it this weekend a little bit. But I'm looking, and the flow from where I clean the power heads might just be a little much. That's what, you start cleaning power heads and they go from, you know, 60% to 100% after you clean them up a little bit. So I may need to, which I do have them pointed differently than I had them pointed before, so I'm probably gonna adjust them. But they're the Tunze 6055 pumps, and they're powerful pumps, especially on a 3-foot tank. So I have them connected together where they all alternate flow back and forth, so that works out pretty good. But yeah, just hanging out, having a good old time here. Figured I'd take a break, relax with some like-minded fish tank people. I actually, a guy that I guess I've known of for a while, he's local to me. I've known his wife for a while. We all went to the same high school together. But anyway, he apparently just got into freshwater tanks, and you know how we tend to do, especially with freshwater, you go a bit overboard. He's got a ton of tanks set up. Actually, no, I lost that RAS. I'll talk about that in a second, but he's got a bunch of tanks set up, and I was talking to him, and I was like, he said, yeah, I watch such and such on YouTube, and talked about a lot of freshwater folks, which I don't know a lot of freshwater people. But anyway, if you're interested, I'm gonna leave a link to his channel below. He's got like 4 subscribers now. He's done quite a few videos. I told him, I was like, you got nothing to lose. I mean, especially where we're from, you're not gonna find too many people interested in the same hobby as you, so you might as well just ramble on about it to a camera and share what you enjoy with others around the world, and it's just a lot of fun that way. So Fish Room Addict is his name, and basically he's got a shop and he's got tanks in there, and he sent me a message earlier saying that he's gone over on the deep end because he just bought a 300-gallon saltwater tank. And actually, he was just wanting the tank. He didn't care about anything else, and he ended up backing out of the deal because they wanted everything gone. And I mean, it was a full of water, full of rock, full of sand. He said, it's just too much for me to deal with. And all he wanted was the tank for freshwater purposes, but they wanted like $350 for it, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, the diamond tail wrasse, I think it was a diamond tail. I don't know. I get them all mixed up, especially with the way that my brain's worked all week with the strep throat. But I thought that the wrasse was gonna recover, and he started to swim around a little bit, and I got really excited. I think I fed a frozen cube, and you can see where my mind's at, a frozen pellet, just one, you know. But anyway, he started swimming all right, and then the swimming started to get super erratic. And he was swimming towards the top of the tank, and I decided at that point, I better get him out of the tank. And I took my little cup that I have in my cabinet and stuck it in the tank and got him out. And you know, if you catch a fish that easy, then something's wrong, because catching fish is not an easy thing to do. But whenever I got him in the cup, I noticed that one of his eyes were completely gone. Like the socket was hollow, and he didn't make it much longer after that. And what I suspect happened to the eye was, with him just laying in the sand, I'm sure that he probably got preyed upon, and something probably popped the eye out. And you know, had it stayed in the sand long enough, for sure the cleanup crew would have taken care of him. But I decided to just go ahead and get him out of the tank. And I hated to see a fish suffer like that, but it had to be because of the temperature swing. I mean, there's no other reason why that happened. So, what's up, Click Clack? Everything else has bounced back pretty good. You can see I do have diatoms on the top of the rock work right there. And I just take a coral feeder. I'll just blow that stuff off every once in a while. The scalemia down here is showing some skeleton, but that's because I need to reposition the pumps. I have a feeling that the pumps are just hitting the front of the glass way too hard and pushing water down onto it, which is pulling the scalemia up like that. So I'm definitely going to reposition the pumps today. And since they're clean, that's another factor. I've actually looked at the 6095 housings, and might get the propellers also. They should fit in the 6055s, and I don't care that the motors are smaller because I don't need the big motors anyway, but I would like the wider flow, especially with this short of a tank. So I think it's like $70 to get the wider housings. So I may just get the housings first and see how I like the wider housings, and then maybe change the propellers out. So your authenticity. I just ramble on about mistakes that I make. Like keeping the I hear you singing back there. My oldest is back there listening to some music and singing. She's gonna get me a copyright strike on here with her singing back there. But excuse me. Yeah, not turning the Inkbird on for a week was a pretty dumb mistake. So if there's another BRS Neptune deal that goes on, I may spring for that. I looked for just a brain, and I saw the on eBay they have the Apex. There's an Apex brain on there. It's like the full-blown brain with the built-in VDM ports, and it was like $390. which isn't bad, but then you got to buy the probes, and temperature probes aren't expensive, but pH probes are. So I don't need the VDM ports to begin with. The VDM ports would be nice because I could actually run the Tunze pumps off of them, but you know, 390 is pretty steep for that right now. So I'll just keep searching around, keep searching around. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen the Gen 5 Radions. Will I get some? Negative. Nope. I like the lights that I have. You can see that flow is really beating up that Ghani. Hadn't really moved the sand around, which this is Tropic Eden sand. There's 50 degrees. Did you lose anything? I always call it, I don't know, I don't remember what I always call it, but it's an emerald crab, and maybe I always call it a hermit or something. I don't know. But he's up there picking at the rocks, having a good old time. There's a close-up of the diatoms. Little Trocus snail right in the middle of the screen there. What's up from Italy? So that coral's dead. Got some algae growing on it, which is a pretty good sign. Lost most of the acros. That sucks. What's up, T40? Yeah, that sucks. You know, after the whole temperature thing, a couple days later, I actually opened up the cabinet again just to make sure that the Inkbird was on. So, yeah, that's a mistake I hope I never make again. Never, ever, ever, ever. So, had to turn her music down for a second. She's over there jamming out. Oh. Yeah, I don't know what my next move is. I have some credit with Live Aquaria. The Radiant Wrasse that I got in a couple weekends ago was just, the eye bulge on it from the get-go was just terrible. And so I got about $70 worth of credit. There's gonna be a couple more wrasses that I wanna pick up. I just don't know when yet. Every time I will see a reef keeper's name now, we'll imagine a tractor trailer on the beach in California. So if you're not following him on Instagram, from time to time, Reef Keeper will just drive down the beach. You know, apparently that's something they do in California. We don't have that in Kentucky. But somebody took a semi truck out on the beach, and it was an awesome picture. You know, it was cool. It was cool to see that out there. Of course, it didn't have a trailer with them. It was just the tractor. But, you know, at least that guy was going out there, probably taking a nap before his shift, enjoying some scenery. Oh, I bet. The sand looks pretty hard packed. So, you know, I know the couple videos that you've always posted, the sands always look pretty hard packed, but, you know, that might have a different meaning whenever you pull a semi out there, but is a Nios 300, is that a tank? I've never heard of that. It's all, you know, I know you asked opinion, and I'll give you my opinion, point blank, that I love this tank. The dimensions of the tank are perfect for me. The worst part is the overflow. If I had to do it again, and at some point I'm sure I will do it again, I would probably still do a 3-foot tank, left to right. I would probably do like 20 inches tall, which I think is what this is. And I would probably do 24 front to back with an overflow that doesn't go all the way down. But otherwise, for me, I like it. You know, the overflow doesn't, I mean, whenever I bought this tank, the overflow, this wasn't even a consideration until a couple years into it. I started thinking about the possibilities if you had that real estate there. But would I do this again? Sure. But as you keep certain tanks, I guess, you kind of see what things you like and what you don't like. But the dimensions of the tank are perfect for me. I would never want a large tank. The biggest tank I would probably ever go with if I plan to put corals in it would be like a 4-foot tank, front or left to right. But other than that, I would never probably go any bigger than that just because of the expense of it. Not so much the maintenance. I don't really feel like maintenance on a reef tank is that bad. That's just my opinion. I mean, you take care of a little bit at a time, have your quarterly maintenance or 6-month maintenance or whatever, where you might spend a little bit more time, but I really like it. Now, the one thing I think that I would like to try at some point would be, I have the term on the tip of my tongue, but what is it whenever you have, you have to remember that I've been running 100+ temperature all week, so my brain is not here right now. What is it whenever you have holes like drilled here, and then you have an output up here, and it just cycles water through the tank with just a pump? Somebody tell me what that is. I have the name of that. What's up, West Coast Reefer? Good grief. I'm sounding like a closed loop. Thanks, Lewis. That's exactly, I had that on the tip of my tongue and I really couldn't come up with it. But I think on a 3-foot tank, it would be awesome to have 2 holes drilled on the back and then 2 up top. And you could use one pretty good size pump for probably both of them. I don't know much about closed loops. I don't know if they would actually require single pumps if you did that. Maybe you could do, you know, one drain down here and then an output here and then another one up there. But I think closed loops would be pretty cool, especially in a tank this small. As far as keeping pumps out of there, I mean, you probably still need power heads, but I think I'd like to try a closed loop at some point. I think it'd be fun to do. And if you do it, I feel like if you've done a closed loop on, and had the output on the back of the tank, I think that I would feel better about that than versus it being on the bottom. I don't know why. It really doesn't make much of a difference because it'd still be low on the tank. But what's up, Super Yellow Tang? But closed loops intrigue me for sure. So the pumps keep kicking up something, which might be the wrasses going down in the sand, and of course it could be the diatoms as well. I flipped over the refugium yesterday and the yellow tang was loving some of the microalgae. What's up, Derby City Reefer? What's up, Daniel? What's going on? Happy Thursday to everybody. Getting close to the weekend. Of course, I'm hoping by the weekend things are kind of normal in the house here. Everybody's been sick, and quite frankly, I can't wait to go back to work. I've been working from home, but I'm ready to go back in the office and get some stuff done. Some stuff that I need to be there to do. So, but it's been fun sitting here and hanging out with the girls, although we've all been a little bit of blah the last couple days. So all week I've just kind of sat on the couch and held the kids, and just while they're watching cartoons or whatever, I'll just look at the fish tank, and like it's all that I need. I'm a system administrator. That's what I do for work. I can show you my sump. I don't run a skimmer. I haven't run a skimmer in close to a year now. It's gonna get shaky here for a second. What's up, Dale's Reef? So the sump area, the quick breakdown is the RedSea Reefer runs a Herbie drain, which means that this is a primary drain, and this valve controls the flow. This is an emergency drain. That's my return line. This is the line for my auto top off. And the reason why it's like this is to prevent a siphon. So I just have the hose from the Tunze coming in here. Prevents a siphon. 6 gallon Crystal Reef auto top off. Crystal Reef Triton sump. So no filter floss, no filter socks, nothing. Comes straight into a refugium. 2 Eheim 150 watt heaters run by an Inkbird temperature controller. Lots of live rock down here. More live rock over here, which would be the skimmer chamber. Octo Aquatics made this for me. It's a magnetic filter floss holder. Made a template out of cardboard. Sent him some specs. He come up with that for me. Tunze 3155 auto top off. J-Cod. Yeah, the Inkbird is on. The J-Cod DCP 4000 return pump. A little bit of Cyprax Eheim auto feeder. And I get asked this quite a bit. Do I worry about food settling down in the return chamber? And it does happen. But I use this coral feeder to just blow the chamber around. So, like, actually I'll set it there and you'll see, you know, of course I held it right underneath the return there, but if I just blow some stuff around in the chamber, it'll stir it up. It'll start coming out into the display. And there'll be some food that has settled out in there. The tank will be a little cloudy now. Dose nitrates by hand. Add a couple drops of Microbacter 7 from Brightwell a couple times a week. I dose fully saturated Kalkwasser with the Kamoer S1. It's in a 3D printed mount. This is a 50 watt Amazon refugium light. I just changed the mounting on it. It used to be like right here, and I had a lot of problem with rust on the screws, so I've moved it up quite a bit. I actually need to move this out of the way. I just noticed this. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is as simple as it can get. This is a cabinet that I built out of 1/2-inch furniture grade plywood. The whole section opens up for ease of access. It was all put together with pocket screws. So up top here is, I need to label some of this stuff. This stuff I mainly just keep on, but the return pump, the wave makers are run on this smart surge protector that's hooked up to Alexa. 3D printed controller holder for the Tunze 3155 auto top off. 2 6055 controllers that are linked together with a cable. The controller for the return pump, which is just over 50% probably. And then I run an APC, I forget what model number that is, but battery backup. And the battery backup's primary focus is to run, not to run, to prevent surges. If the power goes out, the power goes out. Not so concerned about that. So yeah, the panel just slides back on. Pretty easy. I put a piece of foam in between it and my tank stand just to not scratch it up. But I use the battery backup for power surges primarily. The worst thing that can happen with anything electrical is on and off during a power surge, and the battery backup will prevent that. Now, the battery backup will run some equipment for not very long, probably 20-30 minutes, but my primary goal is for power surges and to keep the kids out of here. I have this little, so there's nothing external, and it's a magnet. You can see it's open, and when you run this down, it unlocks. And it's worked well for me. So just keeps the kids out of there. And I'm not worried about the kids getting in there messing with anything, but I do have bristle worms in the tank, and some of the bristle worms in the sump are fairly large, and I don't want them to reach into the refugium and meet a bristle worm. That is something that I would not be able to live with, knowing that I didn't do anything to prevent them from getting in there. So, which is my primary reason for the anti-zoanthid campaign that I have for myself. I think zoanthids are pretty. I like zoanthids in other people's tanks. I just don't like them here just because the toxicity of them. And I know I've talked about that before, but it just makes me really nervous if I was to do a water change and leave a bucket of water out and one of the kids walk over, stick their hand in there and stick their hand in their mouth. If some of that toxin was in that water and they got it in their mouth, you know, I don't want to have to deal with any of that. So I get it that there's other bacterias and whatnot in the water, but try to keep it as kid safe and friendly as possible. And I do run a DD, I don't know if it's aquariums, but it's a Jump Guard Pro mesh top on here. So I think if you have any fish in your tank, you should run a screen top. That's just my opinion. I do have wrasses in here, and they are known to jump, but truth be told, any fish that's spooked is going to jump. So the radions, I went into the Reeflink and swiped the blues off for the video's purpose, but apparently 30 minutes into it, they default back to the blues. So the tank just got super out of focus for you guys. But that's a quick rundown. 2 Radion G4s with the Reeflink. The Reeflink's upstairs, so the Reeflink's about 15-20 feet away. Controls the lights perfect. Before I bought the Reeflink, people left terrible reviews about how awful the Reeflink was, and I've been running the Reeflink for almost a year now, and I've had to reboot it maybe twice. So I've had nothing but great luck out of the Reeflink. And then 80/20 light stand. So in a nutshell, that's it. Carib Sea, it's all Carib Sea life rock shapes in the tank now. And I like it. I like it a lot. So it's 30 minutes of me rambling on. excuse me, about a reef tank. I'm gonna hop off here. We got a project we got to work on. We got a box full of Picasso blocks that we're gonna build on in a little bit. I wish I could see re-see the comments. There we go. See, I've had nothing but great luck out of the Reeflink. Let's see, let me pull you off the tripod and maybe I can kind of explain. There's a whole video on how I did my light stand, but so, I don't know if this'll, nope, because it's locked. It's super hard to see, but there's a white board right there at the tip of my fingers. And the 80-20 is mounted to that, and that's just setting up against my tank stand. So I think I used a little bit of double-sided tape. But on that board, there's 80-20 fittings, and I have an Allen wrench, and it only takes me about 2 seconds to move the whole stand up and down. So this section here is a 4-foot section going down. I think this one's like 12, and this one's 18. This piece right here is over-engineered. Don't even need that piece on there, and I've talked about this a ton, but I bought this as a 48-inch piece because once you go past 48 inches, shipping on it gets really ridiculous. And then I have, again, it's hard to see, but you can see it barely sticking out right here. It's just a piece of foam so that it pushes the extruded aluminum out and it doesn't set up against the glass. But if you go to my website, pelfrey.net, I have, and on the left, if you click 80-20, all of the parts that I bought for the light stand. And if you just YouTube Reef Tank 80-20 mount or 80-20 light stand, you'll be able to find it. Hello from Germany. What part of Germany are you from? I love the RedSea Reefer 250. Been running it, 4 or 5 years now. No issues with the stand. I don't know what happened here, but I can say that one of the kids, hello from DC, one of the kids did that, but you know, it is what it is. Otherwise, the tank has held up great. The tank stand has held up great. So, very happy with the quality of the tank. I do scrape the coralline algae off. Hello from the UK. You can see here there's an astrina starfish eating it, which is why I don't really mind these astrina starfish, because I refuse to get close to the seams of this stuff, so I just let it grow, because the last thing I want is to get into one of those seams. So my German geography isn't that great, but just a fun fact about me. My mother was from Memmingen, and growing up, we would go over there every 2 years for a month. So in the summertime, I'd get to go over there for a month. And it was cool, you know. We'd land in Munich, drive for a couple hours, and then we'd be at my grandma's house, and we would stay there for a month and got to hang out and play some soccer. Got to play some basketball with them. I've never been good at basketball or really good at basketball, but I was pretty good over there. But when it came to soccer, they would kill me playing soccer. So, but it's been a long time since I've been back over there. So, anyway, I'm gonna get over here, build some Picasso blocks, hang out for a little bit, and just hopefully feel a little bit better and enjoy the day. So appreciate you all stopping by. Hope you have a great Thursday. See you on the next one.